Hello lovely people! Thank you for tuning in to this week's painting video. For this video I thought I would do something a little different. I've gotten a lot of requests from you guys to put out a longer, less sped up video so that you can see more clearly my technique, my brush strokes, and so I've decided for this one, instead of making it the usual 2 to 3 minute length, it's actually going to be 15 minutes long. And I'm going to fill up these 15 minutes with answering some of your frequently asked questions. And thank you to everyone on Patreon who took the time out of their day to either sign up for Patreon or pledge or just comment on my posts with your very insightful and interesting questions. I had a lot of fun looking through them, and I'm really excited to open an art dialogue with you guys and discuss these things. And for those of you whose questions I did not get a chance to answer today, do not worry, I will save them for future videos, and I will always refer to this list when I'm in need of conversation topics. And if you have any more questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's get started. The first question is from Madison, and she asks, I am starting oils, but my question is not techniques, as you cover a lot of that in your videos already. But with a huge assortment of paint colors available to choose from, do you have any advice on must-have colors to start with? As a beginner, I can't afford to buy every color, maybe 10 or so, but I know when it comes down to choosing good ones for skin and whatnot, I'll be stumped and just stand there with my mouth open, staring at all the options. Well, Madison, that is a really good question, and I'm so happy you asked this because I think a lot of people out there will find this very useful. Of course, this is just my personal preference. Take it with a grain of salt because you might have different styles or different needs for your color palette, but for me, with skin tones, I don't actually need that many colors. The number one color you need for skin tone is burnt sienna. It's like an earthy orangey brown, and when you mix it with a lot of white, it gives you a very universally, of course this is only for I think pale to medium skin tones, but very universally skin tone, like peachy earthy base. And then you also need some sort of dark brown. I personally like burnt umber, or if you use Gamblin, they have a really beautiful earthy brown called asphaltum, which is so dark you can almost use it as a black or in place of black for paintings if you want to keep it warm. So burnt sienna, asphaltum, which is a dark brown and great for shadows, and then some sort of red or pink. I love the color Permanent Rose. It's not available in every brand, so if the brand you're looking at doesn't have Permanent Rose, you can always just get like a red, either cadmium red medium or alizarin crimson, and use white to turn those into pinks. Alizarin crimson is a little cooler, and cadmium red is very vibrant and warm. And then I also recommend having any sort of green. I don't recommend a super cool green because for my cool greens, I actually just like to mix it myself and use yellow and blue, but I recommend an earthy green. So Gamblin has a really beautiful shade called olive green. They also have the shade called terre verte, which is almost like a grayish brownish green. So those greens will help your skin not look too sunburnt. It'll help bring a realistic, almost desaturated hue to your skin tones. And then, let's see. Oh, lastly, a yellow. So for skin tones, I like to use yellow ochre because, again, it's very earthy and muted. And yeah, so let's see. There's burnt sienna, asphaltum, Permanent Rose, cadmium red or alizarin crimson, and then we have the green, so olive green, and then a yellow ochre. So that's 6 colors. I usually don't need more than those 6 to make like a warm skin tone. Now if you want to get into cool skin tones, you'll probably need, a different set, so pinks and blues and purples. But for skin tones, those 6 should be great to start off. And then if you, let's say you want to limit yourself to not buying more than 10 colors, and let's say we're not counting black and white because those are essential. For the other 4, I would recommend getting something really vibrant that you can mix. So cadmium yellow medium is a really beautiful yellow, and if you get it in a really good brand, the tube I have was like $33 for a very small tube, but it lasts me really long because I only need a small amount, and I usually mix it with like just a little bit of yellow with a lot of white, and it makes this really beautiful vibrant lemon yellow. And then I also recommend a type of blue. So phthalo blue is a really beautiful dense blue. It's not too cool. Ultramarine is a little cool and almost purpley at times. Phthalo blue or Prussian blue are, in my opinion, what I prefer because they're very like average. They're not too cool or too warm. And then let's see, 2 more. I love this color called Luminous Opera. It's like a bright neon pink. It's from the Holbein brand, and I only recommend it because it's not a pink that you can mix, because only that brand carries it, and it's super super vibrant. So if you're a fan of having something vibrant pop, this tube would be really useful for you. Or you can replace that with your favorite color. So just get something like maybe like turquoise light, or cobalt teal from Gamblin is another one, super vibrant blue. So any sort of vibrant color that you won't be able to mix with your existing colors, invest in a tube of that paint, because they will come in handy for your painting when you want to paint something that's the focal point or something that just pops. And then for my last color, this is so hard. Why do you guys have to do this to me? Let's see. Okay, so so we said something vibrant. I recommended a shade of blue and a really good quality tube of yellow. Ooh, yes. Something else I recommend is purple. So I found that dioxazine purple is so saturated and so pure in how purple it is. And when I try to make purple by mixing blue and pink, or actually do not mix blue and red, because it'll give you a really really earthy purple, like almost like a burgundy. So if you want like a really cool purple, I would recommend getting a tube of dioxazine purple. So that's it. Let me recap. For your skin tones, I would recommend burnt sienna, permanent rose, alizarin crimson or cadmium red, a yellow ochre, asphaltum or any shade of dark brown, and earthy green such as olive green or terre verte. And that's 6 colors for skin tones. And then for the 4 remaining colors, if you want to limit yourself to 10 colors, I recommend a really good quality tube of cadmium yellow medium, a really vibrant tube of a color that's your favorite, like really bright pink, which is Luminous Opera, or something like cobalt teal, which is a really saturated, beautiful sky blue. A really good tube of blue, so either phthalo blue or Prussian blue. And then lastly, dioxazine purple. So yeah, those are my recommendations. Okay, looks like we have time for one more in-depth question. This one's a really good one from Heather Autumn Astane. She asks, I just discovered your art and I love your pieces. My question is, do you now or have you ever struggled with self-doubt or having confidence in your pieces? And if so, how do you deal with it? I'm only asking because confidence is an issue for me. Thank you. Well, Heather, I just wanted to say that every artist has confidence issues. You can look at your art idols with millions of followers, and I bet you they all are constantly dealing with self-doubt. And of course, I myself am not immune to this curse. I deal with self-doubt every second of every day. I'm not saying that I'm depressed and really hate my own work, but I definitely don't focus on the successes. I always see the flaws, and I think not only artists but musicians and actors and anyone who's doing anything creative or something they are passionate about will feel that way. I think having a little bit of self-doubt is actually useful, and my way of dealing with it is just channeling it into something productive. So For example, if I see something I did wrong in a current painting or a past painting, I will definitely not be in denial. I won't try to, delude myself into thinking that it's perfect, but instead I will accept that, yes, I did do something wrong. Here's the mistake I made. Here's how I made this mistake. And ask myself, how can I fix this? How can I improve on this in the next painting? How do I avoid making the same mistake again? And so now when I notice myself feeling not too confident about a piece because, it's not going well or I messed up, I try to harness that lack of confidence into encouragement and try to turn it into an opportunity for me to learn something and to improve. Because I feel like if I was 100% confident, then I wouldn't push myself nearly as hard to get better. So in some ways, a lack of confidence can help you become a way better artist. Kenneth Russ asks, do you find that people respond more to completely original works or ones like your Audrey Hepburn painting that features someone people are familiar with? I've done both highly realistic drawings and works that are more conceptual, and I find that I get a better response on the ones that I've used a reference. I guess maybe because people identify more with art that features subjects they are familiar with. For example, I recently did a drawing of Vincent van Gogh and it got a surprisingly large response. But the thing is, if I put the same amount of effort and time into something that's completely from my own imagination, I get a much smaller response. Just wondering what your experience with this matter is. That's a really good question, Kenneth, and I'm really glad you asked me. So, first of all, I would like to encourage you to view your own work and critique your own work separately from the amount of response it gets on social media. I think for me, obviously, sometimes I cannot help but feel like one painting is better than another painting because it got more likes. But I always catch myself and I always tell myself, no, don't think this way. Just because something gets more likes doesn't necessarily mean it's better, and also doesn't necessarily mean that it's more impactful or more beneficial for your career as an artist or for your growth in any creative direction. A lot of times people might not respond well to things that are challenging, things that are new and edgy and weird, things that are uncomfortable. And oftentimes those types of pieces are the ones that will bring you success and growth as a creative individual. So a good example is a lot of my pieces that have sold don't actually get a lot of likes. For example, this particular Frida painting, I had 2 inquiries on this and I sold it within a day or 2, even though it got not nearly as many likes as another painting of mine, which I still haven't sold yet. So don't let that be the metric in which you measure your improvement, your success, your confidence. Social media is a great way to share your work with others, to seek out a supportive group of other creative individuals, but social media is by no means the only way you should judge and critique your own work. In fact, I would argue that pieces that get less likes from your usual audience might be an indication of the piece pushing you in a new and more exciting and more unique creative direction. So yeah, do not get too discouraged by that. I deal with it too, and I'm really happy with the pieces that don't get likes, because it kind of means that I'm pushing the audience and challenging myself to see something new. Okay guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you all enjoyed this longer video and enjoyed my ramblings. Let me know if you would like to see more of this type of video in the future, or more of the more fast kind of 2 to 3 minute long speed paintings. And I look forward to hearing your comments, and leave any questions or suggestions you may have for me in the comment section. I love interacting with you guys and hearing your input. So I will catch you next time, and until then, have a wonderful day. Bye!